and we are going to be reading Psalm 78 through Psalm 88. I am reading out of the Interlinear Bible. O my people, listen to my law. Bow your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will pour forth dark sayings of old, those which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their sons, to declare to the coming generation the praises of Jehovah. Yea, his strength and his wonderful works that he has done, for he has raised a testimony in Jacob, and set a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers to teach them to their sons, so that a coming generation may know. Sons shall be born, and they shall rise up and tell their sons, so that they might set their hope in God, and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments, and they shall not be like their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that prepared not its heart, yea, whose spirit was not faithful with God. The sons of Ephraim were shooters of bows, yet turned back in the day of battle. They did not keep the covenant of God, and refused to walk in his law. And they forgot his works and his wonders which he had shown them. He did wonders before their fathers in the land of Egypt, the field of Zoan. He divided the sea and passed them through. And he caused the waters to stand in a heap. And he led them by a cloud in the day, and all the night with a light of fire. He split the rocks in the wilderness, and made them drink, as from great floods. And he brought streams out of the rock, and caused waters to run down like torrents. Yet they sinned still more against him, to provoke the Most High in the desert. And they tempted God in their heart by asking food for their souls. And they spoke against God, saying, Shall God be able to set a table in the wilderness? Behold, he struck the rock, and the waters gushed out, and the torrents overflowed. Can he also give bread? Will he provide flesh for his people? So Jehovah heard, and he was angry. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and also anger went up against Israel, because they did not believe in God, and trusted not in his salvation. And he commanded the fine clouds above, and he opened the doors of the heavens. And he rained on them manna to eat, and he gave the grain of heavens to them. Man ate the bread of the mighty. He sent food to the full. He made an east wind blow in the heavens, and he led out the south wind by his power. Yea, he rained flesh on them like dust, and winged birds as the sand of the seas. And he made them fall amidst his camp, all around to his tents. So they ate and were filled full, for their own lust he brought to them. They were not estranged from their lust, their food was still in their mouths. And God's wrath came on them, and killed the fattest of them. And he struck down the choice ones of Israel. In all this they sinned still, and did not believe in his wonderful works. And he ended their days in vanity, and their years in sudden terror. When he killed them, then they sought him, and they turned and searched for God. So they remembered that God was their rock, and the Most High God, their Redeemer. But they flattered him with their mouth, and with their tongues lied to him. For their heart was not steadfast with him, and they were not faithful in his covenant. But he, being merciful, atoned for iniquity, and did not destroy. And he added to turn away his anger, and did not stir up all his wrath. For he remembered that they were flesh, a breath passing away and not returning. How often they disobeyed him in the wilderness, angering him in the desert. Yea, they turned back and tempted God, and pained the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his hand on the day he redeemed them from the enemy, who set his signs in Egypt, and his wonders in the field of Zoan. And he turned their rivers into blood, also their streams, that they might not drink. He sent swarms of flies against them, and they devoured them, also frogs, and they destroyed them. He also gave their crops to the stripping locust, and their labor to the locust. He killed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with sleet. He gave their cattle up to the hail, and their flocks to bolts of fire. He sent the heat of his anger on them, fury and indignation and distress, ascending angels of evils. He leveled a path for his anger. He did not keep back their soul from death, but gave their life over to the plague. And he struck all the firstborn in Egypt, the firstfruits of strength in the tents of Ham. And he led his people forth like sheep, and he led them like a flock in the wilderness. And he led them on safely, and they did not fear, but the sea flooded over their enemies. He brought them to the border of his holy place, this mountain that his right hand had gained. And he cast out the nations before them, and by a line he made a possession fall to them. And he made the tribes of Israel to live in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High God. And they did not keep his testimonies, but they turned back and betrayed. Like their fathers, they were veered aside, like a deceitful bow. For they enraged him with their high places, and they provoked him to jealousy with their molten images. When God heard, he was angry, and he utterly rejected Israel. And he left the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent he dwelt in among men, and delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hands. And he gave his people to the sword, and was angry with his inheritance. The fire burned up his young men, and his virgins were not praised. His priests fell by the sword, and their widows were not able to weep. Then the Lord awoke as one asleep, like a mighty man rejoicing with wine. And he drove his enemies backward. He put them to a never-ending shame. And he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and he did not elect the tribe of Ephraim, but he chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount of Zion, which he loved. And he built his sanctuary like high places, like the earth he has founded forever. He also chose his servant David, and took him from the sheepfolds. He brought him in from the suckling ewes. He brought him to feed his people Jacob and his inheritance Israel. And he fed them in the integrity of his heart, and guided them in the skillfulness of his hands. Psalm 79. O God, the nations have come into your inheritance. They have defiled your holy temple. They have laid Jerusalem in heaps. They have given the bodies of your servants as food for the birds of the heavens, the flesh of your saints to the beasts of the earth. They have shed their blood like water all around Jerusalem, and there is no one burying. We have become a shame to our neighbors, a scorn and a mockery to those who are around us. How long, O Jehovah, will you be angry with us forever? Shall your jealousy burn like fire? Pour out your wrath on the nations who have not known you, and on the kingdoms who have not called on your name. For they have eaten up Jacob and laid waste to his dwelling place. Oh, do not remember for us the sins of our first ones. Let your tender mercies meet us speedily, for we have been brought very low. Help us, O God, of our salvation, for the matter of the glory of your name, and deliver us and atone for our sins for your name's sake. Why should the nations say, where is their God? Let him be known among the nations before our eyes. The avenging of the blood of your servants that has been poured out. Let the groaning of the prisoner come before you according to the greatness of your arm. Preserve the sons of death, and reward our neighbors sevenfold. Give into their bosom their curse, with which they have cursed you, O Lord. Then we, your people, and sheep of your pasture, will give thanks to you forever. We will declare your praise to all generations. Psalm 80. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you leading Joseph like a flock, shine forth, you dwelling between the cherubs. Stir up your might before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, and come for salvation, O God. Turn us again and make your face shine, and we will be saved. O Jehovah, God of hosts, how long will you smoke against the prayer of your people? You made them eat with the bread of tears. Yea, you made them drink with tears a third time. You make us a strife for our neighbors, and our enemies laugh to themselves. O God of hosts, turn us again, and cause your face to shine, and we will be saved. You have led a vine out of Egypt. You have cast out the nations, and have planted it. You cleared before it, and you have rooted its roots, and it has filled the land. The hills were covered with its shadow, and its boughs were as the great cedars. It was sending its boughs out to the sea, and its branches to the river. Why have you broken down its walls, so that it is plucked by all who pass by the way? A boar out of the forest wastes it, and the beast of the field feeds on it. O God of hosts, we beg you, return. Look down from heaven and see, and visit the vine, and the vineyard which your right hand has planted, and on the son you made strong for yourself. It is burned with fire, cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your face. Let your hand be on the man of your right hand, and on the Son of Man, whom you have made strong for yourself. So we will not backslide from you. Make us live, and we will call on your name. O Jehovah, God of hosts, turn us again. Cause your face to shine, and we will be saved. Psalm 81. Excuse me. Sing aloud to God, our strength. Shout for joy. To the God of Jacob, lift up a song. And the timbrel hear, the pleasing lyre with the harp. Blow the trumpet in the new moon, at the full moon, on our feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, an ordinance of the God of Jacob. This he ordained as a testimony in Joseph, when he went out over the land of Egypt. I heard a lip I did not understand. I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were freed from the basket. You called in distress, and I rescued you. I answered you in the secret place of thunder. I tested you at the waters of Meribah. Selah. O my people, listen, and I will testify against you. Whether you will listen to me, there shall be no strange gods among you, nor shall you worship a foreign god. I am Jehovah your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not listen to my voice, and Israel did not consent to me. So I gave them up to the stubbornness of their own hearts. They walked in their own conceits. Oh, if my people were hearing me! If Israel had walked in my ways in a little, I would have subdued their enemies, and I would have turned my hand against their foes. The haters of Jehovah will be found liars to him, and their time is forever. Yea, he would make them eat of the fat of the wheat, and I would satisfy you with honey out of the rock. Psalm 82. God stands in the company of God. He judges in the midst of the gods. Until when will you judge unjustly and lift up the faces of the wicked? Selah. Vindicate the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Save from the hand of the wicked. They do not know and do not understand. They walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I have said, you are gods, and all of your sons of the Most High, but you shall die as man, and you shall fall like one of the rulers. Rise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all the nations. Psalm 83. O God, do not keep silence to yourself. Do not be speechless. Yea, do not be still, O God. For lo, your enemies are roaring, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They take shrewd counsel against your people. They plot against your hidden ones. They have said, come, and we will cut them off from being a nation, and the name of Israel will not be recalled again. For they plotted together with one heart. They have cut a covenant against you, even the tents of Edom, and of the Ishmaelites, Moab, and the Hagarites, Gebel, and Ammon, and Amalek, Philistia, and the inhabitants of Tyre. Also Assyria has joined with them. They were an arm to the sons of Lot. Salah. Do to them as to Midian, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the torrent Kishon. At Endor they were destroyed. They become dung for the ground. Make their nobles as Oreb and Zeb, and all their princes like Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take possession of God's pastures for ourselves. O my God, make them as whirling dust, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burns a forest, and as the flame sets the mountains on fire. So pursue them with your tempest, and frighten them with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, and they will seek your name, O Jehovah. Let them be ashamed and terrified forever. Yea, let them be confounded and perish. And let them know your name is Jehovah, that you alone are the most high over all the earth. Psalm 84. How lovely are your dwellings, O Jehovah of hosts! My soul longs and even faints for the courts of Jehovah. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. Even the sparrow has found a house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young. On your altars, O Jehovah of hosts, my King and my God. Blessed are they who dwell in your house. They will always be praising you. Salah. Blessed is the man whose strength is in you. The highways are in their hearts. Passing through the valley of weeping, they will make it a fountain. Yea, the rain clothes with blessings. They go from strength to strength, being seen in Zion before God. O Jehovah, God of hosts, hear my prayer. Give ear, O God of Jacob. Salah. Behold, O God, our shield, and look upon the face of your anointed. For a day in your courts is better than 1,000. I have chosen to stand at the threshold in the house of my God, rather than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. For Jehovah God is a sun and shield. Jehovah will give grace and glory. He will withhold nothing good from those who walk in integrity. O Jehovah of hosts, blessed is the man who trusts in you. Psalm 85. O Jehovah, you have been gracious to your land. You have turned back the captivity of Jacob. You have taken away the iniquity of your people. You covered all of their sins. Salah. You gathered all of your wrath. You turned from the heat of your anger. O God of our salvation, turn us and break up your anger with us. Will you be angry with us forever? Will you give us life anew, so that your people may rejoice in you? Cause us to see your mercy, O Jehovah, and give us your salvation. I will hear what Jehovah God will say, for he will speak peace to his people and to his saints. But let them not turn again to folly. Surely his salvation is near to fearers of him, for glory to dwell in our land. Mercy and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace kissed each other. Truth shall sprout out of the earth, and righteousness looks down from heaven. Yea, Jehovah shall give good, and our land shall give its produce. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall make a way for his footsteps. Psalm 86. O Jehovah, bow down your ear, answer me, for I am poor and needy. Keep my soul, for I am godly. O you, my God, save your servants who trust in you. Favor me, O Lord, for I cry to you daily. Give joy to the soul of your servant. For to you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. For you, O Lord, are good and ready to forgive, and rich in mercy to all who call on you. O Lord, give ear to my prayer. Listen to my voice of supplications. I will call on you in the day of my trouble, for you will answer me. None among the gods is like you, O Lord, nor any like your works. All nations whom you have made shall come and worship before you. Yea, Lord, they shall glorify your name, for you are great and do wonderful things. You alone are God. Teach me your way, O Jehovah. I will walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. With all my heart I will thank you, O Lord, my God, and I will glorify your name forever. For your mercy toward me is great, and you have delivered my soul from the lowest Sheol. O God, the proud have risen against me, and the troop of the violent have sought after my life, and have not set you before their eyes. But you, O God, are God, full of pity and gracious, long-suffering, and rich in mercy and truth. O turn to me and be gracious to me. Give your strength to your servant, and save the son of your handmaiden, or handmaid. Show me a token for good, that those who hate me may see and be ashamed, O Jehovah, because you have helped me and comforted me. Psalm 87. His foundation is in the holy mountains. Jehovah loves the gate of Zion more than all the tents of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of you, O city of God. Selah. I will mention Rahab and Babylon to those knowing me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia, this man was born there. And it shall be said to Zion, a man was born in her, and he, the highest, will establish her. Jehovah shall count in recording the peoples, this man was born there. Selah. And the singers, the players of the pipe, all my springs are in you. Psalm 88. O Jehovah God of my salvation, I have cried in the day, in the night before you. Let my prayer come before you. Bow down your ear to my cry, for my soul is full with evils, and my life touches Sheol. I am counted with those who go down to the pit. I have been like a feeble man, free among the dead, as pierced ones lying in the grave, whom you remember no more. Yea, by your hand they are cut off. They have laid me in the lowest pit, in dark places, in the deeps. Your fury has lain hard upon me, and you afflict me with all your waves. Selah. You have taken my friends away from me. You have made me a hateful thing to them. I am shut up. I cannot go out. My eye mourns because of affliction. O Jehovah, I have called on you every day. I have spread out my hands to you. For will you do wonders to the dead, or shall the departed spirits rise to thank you? Selah. Shall your mercy be declared in the grave, your faithfulness amidst ruin? Shall your wonders be known in the dark, and your righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? But to you I have cried, O Jehovah. In the morning my prayer shall go before you. O Jehovah, why do you cast off my soul? Do you hide your face from me? Am I afflicted and dying from childhood? I suffer your terrors. I am distracted. Your fierce wrath goes over me. Your terrors have cut me off. They surrounded me like waters all the day long. They have come together around me. You have taken over, or you have taken lover and friend far from me. He who knows me into darkness